Welcome back. The Defense Logistics Agency has a new data strategy in progress. DLA's Chief Data Officer, Teresa Smith, tells Federal News Network she wants to give people the right data to help answer the right questions. The Pentagon's broader data strategy is only about 6 months old. Riya Patel is Senior Program Manager for Government at Dcode. Riya, welcome. Thanks for coming on the program. What should these organizations inside the Defense Department think about? What should they consider as they plan data strategies?
Thank you for having me. That's a great question. I think something that we've learned from just seeing the DoD implement their own data strategy is the need to keep it a simple sort of strategy, right? So make it very transparent, make it very clear. And I think one thing we've learned just in our own time at Dcode, helping these organizations better understand data, is the need to also not just help the workforce understand what is data and sort of generic data literacy, but also how do you tell a story with data, which I know is also very much in line with what Defense Logistics Agency is thinking about as they implement their own data strategy.
What's fascinating to me is when the DoD's data strategy came out, David Spirk said the most important thing he was thinking about was people. That's pretty consistent with what people are talking about in every other area of technology, and pretty much every area of everything is people. What are the right people and what are the right skills those people have to be able to tell stories, as you described it a moment ago?
Absolutely. So definitely everyone, right? I think the beautiful thing about data and the reason it's so powerful is that it can truly affect the way that every person in the workforce does business within the Department of Defense and within Defense Logistics Agency. And so data literacy is important not just for the operators and the users, but also for enabling functions like acquisitions and folks in HR as well as leadership. So everyone needs to better understand data and have a conception of data literacy. But I think this thing that we have seen at Dcode and also what we teach is all about understanding how to also manage a product and manage data, because program management, which the Department of Defense is very good at, is frankly a little different from managing data and managing a product that involves data. So having a piece of data literacy and data education that also focuses on how do you enable data to affect change in the department, and how do you product manage and understand how to be more agile and innovative through leveraging data is just as important as understanding the underlying functions and architecture of data.
When you deal with people inside the Defense Department, not necessarily just DLA, but broadly across the department, what's the biggest shortcoming when these people come to you about understanding that concept of managing data as a product, Riya?
That's a great question. So one thing we see a lot of difficulty with, and I think this is just by nature of data, honestly, is that everyone can grasp and understand data, and everyone works with data. It's very difficult to understand its day-to-day applications and how to realistically think about for the first next steps, right? So we always hear, like, don't boil the ocean with new technology, and that is something that I personally love seeing the DoD strategy kind of focus on incremental steps to help the workforce understand how they can realistically apply data to their everyday jobs. So use case definition, as well as just a conception of how to start small, but think big when you're thinking about implementing a data strategy.
For other organizations inside DoD that are working on data strategies, would it make sense to just adapt what the Pentagon has chosen broadly, or is each organization's operation sufficiently different that it should be tailored to what they do?
That's a great question, and I'm just trying to think because I think something that's super interesting, right, is the conception and the strategy that DoD has set forth is pretty overarching, and it keeps it very general, and is definitely, when I read it, it comes across as something that should be tailored and customized depending on the organization, depending on the office. So I think it's a great framework to start, and then core to having a really strong data governance structure and data architecture is understanding how it fits into your own network architecture and your own organization's systems and mission sets. So I would say it's a piece of using it as a great starting point and kickstarting an organization's journey into and better leveraging data as a strategic asset. But there should be some level of tailoring and customization to fit their specific mission needs.
We just have a couple of minutes left. I want to go back to that term that you used earlier, data literacy. When someone is data literate, what is she able to do that she wasn't able to do before data literacy?
Great question. And again, something that I probably talk to government about for 4 hours of an 8-hour workday. It's all about understanding the data you have, understanding how you can leverage that data to enable better decisions at your job, to make your job quicker, easier, more accurate, depending on what you are doing. And it's also an understanding of how to weave that narrative of data into the larger mission and picture.
We have about 30 seconds left. What would you watch as these organizations, not just DLA, but others, roll out their data strategies, Riya?
Absolutely. I think one thing that we are looking forward to seeing, and I think we have already seen, is a partnership with private sector and industry on leveraging data and implementing data from the ground up. So private sector, in particular, the commercial technology sector, has already done some amazing things when it comes to helping organizations understand how to set a strong basis for enabling data-driven decision making. And so I think we're seeing a lot of leveraging commercial technology to help organizations, in particular the Department of Defense, get their data structured and clean. And I think we are also seeing a heavy investment in training and enabling the workforce to better understand how data can make their lives easier, as well as how to manage data in the context of, huge enterprise-wide programs.
Riya Patel, thanks very much for joining me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Francis.